Welcome to the Orange Witch YouTube channel, everybody. Today, in this video, I'm just going to give you a brief rundown of how the Lenormand cards work on a single card level. So I've got my deck here, and my deck features a reversible back so that you can't tell when you're shuffling them which way they're going to land. That said, Lenormand does not use an upside down or a reversed meaning in any circumstance. You just got to write it. You're just going to turn it right around and yep, she's done. But for the meanings, might just put the whole deck in. So we've got the cards, and on every single card in this particular version of the deck, I've put the keywords. The keywords I've broken down into groups, which it doesn't actually state on the card just for, like spatial constraints, but it is general meaning, relationship meaning, business or work or career, and then health. So for the birds, the general meaning is verbal communication. There is a couple of other things that it could possibly mean, and I went through them all. And I went through different resources, and I just thought there's too many meanings for this card if we want to do quick, easy readings where we actually get into what's important, the thing that is most important for all of these different resources and meanings that they had collated, and I think there was probably about a dozen for each. They all agreed that verbal communication was the top one, so I chose to only have verbal communication as the general reading for the birds, and that's worked really well with all my readings so far because information can come in different ways. There's other cards that say that it's coming in the written form. There's other cards that say that it might actually come as a revelation. So this card was just allocated verbal communication only. And I feel like that is one of the ways that birds communicate the best within their little groups as well. I have a bird, and if he is unhappy, he will squawk, or if he's happy, he will sing. And that is literally the only thing that you can get out of a bird. So for that reason, it just really matches. Probably thinking way too much into why I picked that, but whatever. Then in terms of relationships, it is even more simple than the general layout. It's couple. I will not have this card come up and read it any other way other than couple in a relationship-based reading. I just can't even think of what other people had put online, but to me, it's just a couple. I have some magpies that actually just visited before, and they always come as a couple. So in my mind, birds that there is multiple of, they're a family unit, which I think is cute. I love magpies. In terms of business, we've got negotiation or meetings. Some people just have this as a business card and say, well, the birds mean business. But if you're doing a business reading, if someone's like, what career am I going to have? You're not going to have in the middle of the reading, oh, well, this is the business card. Like, that doesn't make sense. So for that reason, I said that it was negotiations and meetings because both of those things you do usually in person and verbally. I've yet to see a meeting that is completely written. I don't think they exist. I think that's called email. And then finally, we've got throat issues as the health problem. And I'm not sure who allocated the health meanings. I'm not sure if that was actually something that Madame Lenormand did, but it's been allocated that meaning now, and that will just be because it's closely related to anything that's verbal. So that is the breakdown of a single Lenormand card. they all get broken down in the same way. They have single meanings on my deck. We're talking about my deck. Single meanings for everything, and then you can expand from there. But again, I've said in a couple of other videos so far, Lenormand is not a deck that you can actually read into. You can't be like, oh, I hate that meaning, so I'm going to allocate another one. No. Bitch, please. The cards are saying what they're saying. That is the meaning. And you can either do another reading because you don't like that one and ignore that it happened entirely, which a lot of people do. Don't lie. You do it when you don't like a reading. You're like, oh, okay, well, I'll shuffle it a different way and maybe I'll get a different outcome. There's not that many meanings that make sense if you do that for Lenormand. So I've got totally sidetracked, but yes, every card is very, very, very simple and basic to read into. So the anchor, I'll just read it. Stability, settling down for family, security for job, and hips and pelvic area. And I have a feeling that's because an anchor looks a lot like the shape of hips when they're bones, which I think is really clever if somebody's made that connection. Otherwise, if they've just randomly allocated it, it's still really clever. I'm going to end this video here because otherwise we'll just end up talking about the format of Lenormand cards for hours on end, and I would like to do short videos. So stay tuned for the next video on how to read Lenormand.